Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to a live video, which I know Helen is becoming a bit of an expert at today. So thank you everyone for joining us. We are on, so we're on the Northern Affinity pages on LinkedIn and on Facebook and on Twitter and YouTube. We are also on Helen's Facebook page as well. So we're everywhere today, Helen. Bit like yourself.
Yeah.
So I am delighted to say we're here with world famous author Helen Hill.
Not quite yet.
Falling off the ladder. So Helen, do you want to quickly introduce yourself before I ask you a few questions anyway?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Helen Hill. I'm a learning and content designer for my business, Unlike a Genius. And I am now an author, I can actually say this, of Falling Off the Ladder, which has been released today. So in fact, I should be like waving this around, shouldn't I? So this is a book very much based on my story, but also 9 other freelancers and self-employed people that are in there as well. And it's about leaving and working for other people and the corporate world and that whole toxic one-size-fits-all culture to work for yourself and really thrive and get your head in the right place to do so. So falling off the ladder, double meaning as well, because I'm so clumsy that I do fall off ladders quite a bit. There you go.
Well, that's great, Helen. So as I've just put across the bottom, if anyone's got any questions or comments to do what we're talking about, please feel free to fire them in. I'm sure Helen will happy to answer some of them. So please do that as we go along. So pretty simple, nice, easy question to start with about the book. What's it about?
Yeah, so as I say, it is very much a book about shifting your mindset. So one thing that I really started to notice when I was engaging in freelance communities is that a lot of people are still stuck in that mentality that comes with working for the people, of living by their rules and being at your desk 9 to 5 and really struggling to push back on things, when actually you're a business owner now and you have control. And the most important for me, you're allowed to be yourself. You don't have to hold yourself back anymore. So I was seeing this a lot, and people raising questions in communities and stuff, and just saw a real need for people to start, acknowledging that they can be themselves, that they can take that control back. So I decided to write the book about it, based very much on how I've gone from, really being at rock bottom, really being unhappy. I was getting bullied and discriminated against because of a disability and all that kind of thing, to having a thriving business and being happy and feeling so much better. My health has improved physically and mentally. And I did that within 2 years. So the book very much is the process I took to get there, and it's learnings from mindfulness, from therapy, from NLP, through, a whole barrage of things, and just common sense sometimes. Yeah.
Isn't it interesting how we kind of get, especially anyone who's worked in, whether it's, I guess a business of any size, but if you're working somewhere where you get ingrained into you, that 9 to 5 is the norm, and the best way to work is to be essentially chained to your desk between those hours, apart from the hour or whatever you get at lunch. I remember itself when I first went self-employed, when it was 5 years or so ago now. I was sat down working between those hours, and I remember having one of those days, when you're kind of just pushing a mouse around a screen type of days, and you're not really getting anywhere. We all have them now and again.
Oh, yeah.
And I went, right, I'm off to the gym. And I went off and went to the gym, 11 o'clock or whatever it was, came back, and then had an unbelievably productive afternoon. And it was kind of like this light bulb moment to me, as I like, why am I working between 9 and 5 and getting up early or leaving until late to go to the gym? I'm the boss now. I can do it when I want and work what is best for me.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's one of the best things that's come out of the pandemic, that people are realizing this, and they're pushing back, aren't they? Of, hang on, I've got to go and pick my kids up 3 till 4, and I've got to do this, and if they need to work first thing in the morning, middle of the day, a bit in the evening, because that works for them, then let them do that. And I know I was talking about this in that presentation of the week for you guys, wasn't I? That, I know that at 3 o'clock, the sun hits this room, it gets boiling, the sun's right on my face, and then next, a couple of houses away, has like a childcare thing, and they start playing out, and one of the girls particularly like screaming and stuff. And I just got to the point where I've started taking myself for a swim at sort of 3 or 4 o'clock, come back, carry on for a couple of hours, and I'm so much more productive than if I had sat here forcing myself to work, especially because I get quite a bit of misophonia as well. So outside noises really do get me. Like, oh, there's a dog that barks like on a 10-second loop on the other side of the road, and that gets in my head and I can't get it out. So if things like that are going on, sometimes it's better to just go, you know what, I'll down tools for half an hour and go and poke the rabbits.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll come to the rabbits in a minute. So we had a best. So thanks, Tom, for best of luck with the book. Helen.
Thank you, Tom.
I'd like to know about the kind of process and kind of when you decided, right, I'm gonna write a book, and kind of how did it go from there? Obviously, I know it's not as simple as what anyone would explain. How do you go from that point to where you are today? What's the kind of process?
Yeah, I'm a book hoarder. I love books, and I've always wanted to write one. Thought it would be a children's book, which I do have one in the works, but that's a different project. But I really saw this thing in what I do so I'm a learning designer, and I bring in quite a bit of content design theory into that, and no one else seemed to see the link between the two. So I actually started writing a book on that. But I did this course with someone for a month, and then that finished, and I just kind of was like, I wasn't feeling it. So anyway, I started doing the Right Now accountability sessions with Erin Chamberlain, just 2 hours a week on a Monday night, and she has 2 other sessions as well during the week, but I always do the Monday. And then she did, so I got into a writing habit, and then she did a 5-day challenge, and I did it with her and realized that I was writing the wrong book, and that was the problem. So I quickly switched to the book that has become Falling Off the Ladder. And yeah, it just went from there that she's kind of, I then joined her incubator program, author incubator, and did all the market research and all of that kind of stuff, got stuck in that part of the process because I was trying to put off actually writing. So she was like, come on now, let's get some words down. And yeah, she's guided me through the whole thing, and it's been pretty much exactly a year from starting that to publication day today.
Wow.
Yeah, so I've needed her.
I can imagine. Do you think that's a really important part, having that kind of accountability, essentially?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't done this book cheaply. I've spent quite a lot of money on mentoring with Erin and PR woman, and just all the different bits of things I've done. I've not the version, like the color version, it's quite expensive to produce and all that kind of thing. But I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it to help other businesses and things, really. And I think all those things have added up to help me build confidence, and that's been really important for me because I didn't have any this time last year, or maybe just before. I'd just written a blog post saying I will never call myself a writer, never mind an author. I didn't want to call myself a writer, and to have gone from that to now having a book, and talking about it and getting it out there, it's been a phenomenal change. And I think part of that has been just at least having people behind me who, when I've had a wobble, have managed to pick me up and encourage me to carry on, and that I'm doing the right thing, and that everyone has these fears. And yeah, it's definitely helped move things forward. And I know not everyone can afford to kind of do that, but it was just an investment I think I needed at the time.
Yeah, it's one of the questions I was going to ask you, actually. And you mentioned that you're not doing it to maybe become a millionaire being an author, but so for why? What are the reasons for you for doing this? If you become a millionaire author, then even better. But
well, yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to have to write about 3 books to break even. Put it that way. But,
right, okay.
Yeah, which luckily book 2 is in the planning. But no, for me, like I say, it was about, I'd seen all these freelancers and things that just needed that encouragement to do what they want to do and to take charge of their businesses and push back and really thrive. And I want to work with them, and I want to encourage them. And there's a whole new avenues of stuff opening up for me now, of mentoring people, and I love doing that stuff. So it was about that, and it was quite cathartic for me to write because it helped me deal with the previous experiences and have my say a little bit. And I really, once I got writing, I just didn't stop. The first version actually just flew out. It was the editing that took a lot of time, but yeah, it's just about wanting to build a community, wanting to help people that, I've been in that position. I know how it feels when you've been pulled down by people and ripped apart and told you're never going to get anywhere. And it's lovely to get to the point where you go, look at me now. So yeah, as bitter as that sounds, you can get to that point. And yeah, I just want to help people do that. So
that seems like a great reason. So I mean, I've actually, one of the questions I wrote down was, I know you said it was an expensive process, but actually, is it a bit cheaper than therapy doing this? Is it kind of an alternative?
Well, there was therapy in there as well, but no, it'd probably be cheaper to hire a therapist for a year. But the way I've done it, you can do it cheaper. But I just wanted,
it was therapeutic.
It was very therapeutic. Yeah, very much so. And I think with the tough year I've had personally and stuff as well, it actually gave me something to just plow myself into, to just switch my mind onto something else. And it's been very therapeutic, and I will certainly be carrying on with a regular writing habit. But I've forgotten where I was going now. Oh yeah, no, cost. Yeah, no, definitely you can do it cheaper, but I wanted to make it look really professional, because obviously I was self-publishing, and there is a stigma sometimes because these people that throw a book together, which is just a PDF, they whack it on the website or onto Amazon for 99p and claim, oh, I'm a best-selling author, whatever, in the game, the system. But that's not what I wanted from this. I wanted something that is really professional, really well done, that's been edited, been proofed. I had an argument with someone online this week because he told a woman that you didn't need a designer, you just need Canva, you don't need a proofreader. Anyone that's left school can proofread a book themselves and edit it. I was like, no, no. So yeah, there's a very different mentality with self-published. There's one way, and then there's the way I've done it, and I've gone down the let's make it really look good. And I believe in this stuff, so I wanted it to reflect that, really.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So I know you've referenced quite a few times kind of the freelance world and people in it, and obviously self-employed, small business people, all kind of under similar type of experiences, I guess. Tell us what your experience of that world is, the people in it, and what it's been like.
I've got really gushy this last week. I mean, you've seen some of my tweets and stuff. I'm just like, I bloody love them. It's funny because anyone outside of that world thinks that you should all be in competition with each other. That, why would I be networking with other designers, other learning designers? Because you cannot survive without them. I really don't think that, well, you could survive, but your business wouldn't thrive, put it that way. Like I say, I've had a bad year with things going on, and it is the freelance and the self-employed community, more than people I've known 20 years, that, well, you sent me the biggest box of cake I've ever seen. That kept me and my mum going for quite some time.
Buy one, get one free for me, Helen, that's why.
Oh, right. Okay.
I'm only kidding.
No, and other freelancers that I've never even met in real life, but just sending me cards, just saying I'm thinking about you, ringing me to check in on me if I'd gone quiet on social media for a couple of days. And it was just this real sense of, they are amazing, and it makes you realize how important it is to have those people there. And it's not just when bad things happen, it's sometimes when something great happens, like today. You've got no one sometimes to share that with. I mean, yes, I've got my partner and he's thrilled, but he's also quite separated from it. Whereas all the freelancing community have been really like, this is amazing, and really bigging it up for me, sharing it widely. And, one person said to me today, I can't get away from your face. I'm like, I'm really sorry about that. But they will support you in everything. And also, we build communities where we pass each other work. So if you're a copywriter in the health industry, and someone else is a copywriter in travel or something, and someone comes to you with some work that's not right for you, you pass it on to the next copywriter. The client appreciates it because they're getting a recommendation, and they will come back to you if they want what you have, the skills you have, and it works both ways. So I just can't gush about them enough, because they've been my absolute rock. And that's why the book has been very much, I've got 9 other people's stories in there with mine as well, plus then I talk about other people in there. So it's a real kind of celebration of all freelance community, not just me having, got to this point. It's all those other people as well. So.
Absolutely. You can see on the screen there, I had a comment from
Oh,
Kate. I know we both know her well.
yeah.
She's 100% right there that there's so many people in that kind of world that just support each other and are really, really good. And it's a really nice world to be in on the whole, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it really is. It's so genuine. That's the thing as well. And anyone that is not that way soon gets called out on it, and they don't tend to last long in the communities, and you're just left with, lovely people.
There's a real empathy, isn't there, in terms of, there's all sorts of different things you see around social media when like the ups and downs of self-employed. One minute you're in the top of the world, and the next minute you're the exact opposite. And it is absolutely true of pretty much every single day that we all have. And knowing that from each other, it kind of a bond there, I guess.
Yeah, I think there is, and it's that thing of, if you have a question or you're stuck on something, all you need to do is post it in one of the communities, and someone will have the answer for you. Whether it's something about, whether it's something about tax, or can I claim this on my accounts? Can I do this? Or I'm having a crap day. Someone send me a GIF and cheer me up, or whatever it is. They do get it. And non-paying client is my recent one. That I'm still waiting from April. Apparently the money should be in today. Doubt it. And people really get that, and it is something you don't get elsewhere from people that aren't self-employed. I think they don't quite understand how important that is for your business when someone doesn't pay you and things like that. So yeah, I'm just going to gush.
Yeah, between you and Kate, you're going to be crying. Hopefully it's good tears anyway.
Yeah, well, me and Kate are actually meeting up next week in the real flesh for once, for the first time. If we get our date right, we keep messing up. Next week we can have a week, Kate.
Absolutely, have a week together. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I think there'll be a lot of people who watch this who kind of thought, I'd like to write a book, or have thought about it, maybe even started it. Can anyone write a book?
I think physically, yeah, sure. Anyone that can write a book, but seeing it through and doing it properly is a whole different ball game. I think. Some people would have possibly put out what I had as a first version, but then I went, step on and on and edited it so many times. And I think, like I say, if you want to do a proper job, it is a huge undertaking, and there's a reason why so many people start one and never finish. And even the kids' book that we've got in the works. So Sally, who I do Be the Future Earth with, over on Instagram, she's written it and I'm illustrating it. And to see the amount of work she's putting, because she keeps saying, "Oh, well, your book's 60,000 words, mine's like 400 because it's a kid's book." I'm like, yeah, but I actually think that was harder than me writing the 60,000. And the amount of research she's put into like structure and all that kind of stuff for kids' books is incredible. So yeah, anyone could just write a book, but to do a really good job of it and make sure that you have the right writing techniques for your audience and all that is a whole different ball game. But I would say if you want to write one, absolutely give it a bash and see how you come out with it. I honestly never thought I'd write a book like this.
Well, absolutely, yeah. And it's never been more accessible than it is now, is it?
Yeah.
To do that, and I know for some people writing, I know for you, Helen, like writing a book is something you wanted to do. It's a kind of an ambition, and the good thing about, I guess, today is there's so many different options apart from a book as well that you can do, whether it's a podcast or blogs or whatever it might be. People can do other things as well. So there's maybe kind of stages you build yourself up to.
Yeah. Definitely. And like I said, the Write 52 initiative that Ed Callow runs on Twitter was definitely the stepping point for me, because like I say, I was determined that I couldn't write because I don't write with the big words. I very much write in a conversational way. But then I started to write these blog posts and realised that actually people respond more to that. And then and with working in content design, where it's all about using plain language, I realised actually, no, there is a way of writing in this simpler, conversational language. And it is certainly more relatable for the topic I'm writing about. But writing those blog posts and experimenting with what I was doing in them was a huge confidence boost for me, because you've got your little network of all of us doing it who would read each other's blogs each week and share them and things and feedback. And then there was a newsletter that went out every week with the list of everyone's. And then I 1 week edited that newsletter, which I was terrified because they're all copywriters. So I was like, oh Christ, what am I doing? You know. But actually I did one with a Spotify playlist to go along with it and all sorts. It was great. And that was a huge step for me to go, oh, actually I can write. And even these copywriters are saying, oh, I love this. And so I did the 52 weeks, and then I went into Erin's writing accountability group, and it's just flown from there. So I think definitely practice in finding your voice. I started for the Write 52 writing about things I love. That was just my theme. I've just come back from Norway, and my first post was about Preikestolen, which is like pulpit rock that you can climb, and it's just the most incredible view I've ever seen. So that was my first post, just talking about that, and hiking for 3 hours up there and whatever, and it was phenomenal. And then partway through I switched to writing stuff about the business, because I gained the confidence to then write about learning design and all that kind of stuff. And then it's gone on from there to now writing more about well-being and mindset and the stuff that actually really fires me up, which is that. So definitely practice.
So I guess kind of take it back to this whole self-employed world and freelance. If there's somebody watching this who's maybe currently in a employed role, and they say they've always wanted to do something and they just don't know where to start with it, what would you say to them in terms of, apart from read the book, obviously? What would you say to that person, and why they should try it?
It's just, I think you've got to assess your values in life, and that's quite a big topic in the book, actually, and something that I talk about quite a bit now, that the values I have in my business are mostly formed by my feelings from when I was in employment. So I had no flexibility, so I really value that now. That's one of my main things. Despite being a creative in my job, I was we were very much not allowed creative expression. So that's now a big thing for me. And I've pulled all those, and I think you've got to really assess what it is that is making you miserable in that world, and if self-employment can help you now, actually use that to your advantage. I've got the flexibility now for my health needs, for my physio, for my hospital appointments, which funnily enough, they were like a weekly occurrence when I was working for other people. Now I'm lucky if I have a hospital appointment every 6 months, because my health has improved that dramatically from being there to now. In fact, I think it's gone down to once every 12 months now. So it's just the physio that I have ongoing, but that's only once a month. And so it's really looking at those things of what is that employment world doing to you? What skill set have you got that you could take to an employment? How can you just start to build your confidence to at least have a plan and start looking at where your customers are and things before you leap? I'm a hypocrite, because I just leapt. I, one day handed my notice in, and that was it. I'd had enough. But I was lucky that I'd done some freelance work on the side for 10 years. So although they're not now my clients, because I'm in a slightly different industry, that was graphic design, whereas now I'm in the learning design. I at least had the business name set up and a bank account and some of those other things. So I think just think carefully about your plan, your exit plan, how you can start to build things up. And it's not just the practicalities, it's how you can start to build your mindset to hit the ground running a little bit when you do. I was lucky that I handed my notice in and I didn't have to work the notice. So I had 4 weeks to kind of pull myself together. And then I managed to land a contract that was 10 months on site. So it was a good stepping stone from being employed to self-employed, but working in an office, to then being at home full time. So it was just a nice little kind of step to do so. But everyone's got their own ways of doing it. Some people plan meticulously and save thousands of pounds just in case, and I just went, no. here's my notice.
I like you said, I think there's some different one for everybody, and I think
Yeah.
I think the key, and looking back at it now myself, I would just say to anyone, just be prepared that it is a bit of a roller coaster. Like, you know, when you're in the employed world, it's kind of just a steady, slightly gets better, slightly gets worse. Generally, is how the world works when you're employed. You know, it's fairly stable. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, but it's probably not like that so much in the self-employed world. But it is worth it.
Yeah. Oh, it's so worth it. I mean, it's definitely the best thing I ever did.
Absolutely. So you mentioned a second book there, Helen. What's going on with that? What can you tell us?
Well, so this book is 3 parts. Now, it was 4, and when I was editing it, I couldn't decide why I couldn't get it to flow properly from part 3 into part 4. And then after Erin, my mentor, saying to me, leave some for book 2, leave some for book 2. About 3 weeks later, I went, oh, that's why, because part 4 is actually book 2. So I already have 20,000 words. Imagine how big this would have been if I'd left it in. I mean, it would have been like Bible sized. But yeah, this was the thing. I was trying to cut it down. I was like, well, it's all valuable stuff, right? And so part 4 is now going to be book 2, which is going to be kind of set further on. Whereas this book is very much about trying to get you in that initial stage from shifting your mindset. Book 2 will be about sort of maybe a year on or so, how to now really kind of go to that next level, whatever that looks like for you. And yeah, just really getting yourself out there. So yeah, I'm having a rest first though.
Yeah, I think that you deserve a rest. So I thought it'd be always interesting to people to find out a little bit about you. So rabbits, tell us about rabbits, Helen.
Oh yeah, I really want them now. Let's go and get them. No, so I have 2 ridiculously fluffy, absolute divas called Tiffin and Strudel, who appear on video calls sometimes, and they're on my Instagram all the time, and they have their own Instagram, which has got more followers than I have, which is quite depressing. But yeah, they're my babies, and I got them 3 and a bit years ago. So just as I started to work from home, and they're just so great to have. And I can see why people say pets are great for your mental health and stuff. It's lovely to just go out, and you only need to take one look at Strudel's face, and it's always silly. So it just cheers me up endlessly. So they have become part of my brand. They are always in the illustrations for my website and stuff. And obviously we've got the little bunny ears on the front cover here, which a few people have gone, what's with the bunnies? Well, Strudel. So yeah, they're my babies.
Yeah, it's important to know a little bit about you as well. Obviously, if anyone gets the book, we'll find out more. So
yeah,
I know you've got a lot going on today, Helen. So what else is to come in the next few days regarding the book?
Yeah, so I have 2 calls back to back this afternoon now, with one with Steve Folland, who runs Being Freelance Community, and one with Ed Goodman, who runs Freelance Heroes. So I'm quite active in both communities, and I've built up a good relationship with those 2. So I really wanted them to be part of the day. And obviously they're huge champions for freelancers. And then after that, we've got Neil Whitman, who's an award-winning animator. So he was in a mastermind with me. And he's just so lovely. We get on really well. And so I've interviewed him about his journey, because he's a recent leaper. He only left full-time employment at the beginning of this year. And then we've got Emma Cownley, the Queen, of Kiss My A's on YouTube. She's, she gives such great advice for freelancers and things. So we've got an interview with her, and those 2 are both pre-recorded, so I can actually sit back for a little bit this afternoon and reply to the millions of messages I've got. But yeah, a really great myth busting session with Emma, where we've bust, I think it's 6 or 7 myths about freelancing. And then this afternoon is the rap party. Tonight, at 7 o'clock. So please, somebody come and join, so I'm not just partying on my own. I'm going to make a fool of myself with some of the games. So it's worth coming for that. And then tomorrow night is the final bit with Joe Watson and Joelle Byrne. To be honest, I haven't planned it yet. I think if I planned it, it would go out the window with us 3. So we're having wine and we're talking. It could go anywhere. Oh yeah.
So have you is everything like that all to be found on the website, on the Falling Off the Ladder website? Is that right?
yeah, so fallingofftheladder.com/launch, and all the details are on there. And then it's just the 2 evening ones that need signing up for, just so I have an idea of numbers. But yeah, it'd be great to see as many people as can as want to join. But grab a wine or a brew, come in your pajamas, come dressed up, who cares? Come and have a game of bullshit bingo tonight.
So, well, that sounds good. Having worked in the finance corporate world, could go on for hours about various words that would work in that one. Yeah. So I put the link to your website in the comments as well for anyone to go to. I mean, what things like social media? Where's the best places to follow you, to see what's going on as you go through this journey?
I think, well, generally I'm everywhere, but Falling Off the Ladder on Instagram is the key one for the book, and also the book website, fallingofftheladder.com. And I am on Twitter as Unlikely Genius. Very sporadic with it, but I'm getting there. I'm starting to learn what Twitter's about, put it that way. So, yeah. So, but you'll find me anywhere. LinkedIn, I'm on all the time. Just if you put in Unlikely Genius or Helen, it will generally come up with me. Yeah.
Fantastic, Helen. Well, what we'll do is I'll give you a chance to have a bit of a rest, because I know it's been a pretty hectic morning for you, and we'll continue the rest of the day. But just to say now, congratulations. I think it's fantastic what you've done. I've ordered the book, and I'm looking forward to reading it. They could be fantastic. And, you know, I think, so you touched on it right at the start of this conversation. You spoke at one of our meetings a couple of weeks ago now, and you know, what was it described? I feel like you had a hug. I think it was Danny who said that, and it's absolutely right. I think that's why I'm looking forward to the book. So like getting a hug while reading. But no, congratulations on it. I think it's fantastic, and I know so many people will enjoy it. Like I said, before I even read it, because I've got to know you a little bit, I know that so many people will enjoy it.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, and thank you for all your support. It's been great.
Oh, you're more than welcome, Helen. Yeah, so we've had just brilliant. There you go.
Oh,
Stuart is sums it up better than I could. So well done, Stuart. So yeah, obviously, if anyone does watch this, you know, I'd appreciate the nature of social media. Sometimes you watch these on demand. You know, feel free to put comments in afterwards if you're watching it, and I'm sure are there any questions to Helen. I'm sure we're more happy to take them when either today or maybe when things calm down over the next couple of days.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much, Helen, and obviously good luck with the book. And, I mean, if people I should obviously say, if people wanting to buy the book, where's the best places to go?
Yeah, so if you want the full colour version, this is like a special edition one. That is on my Falling Off the Ladder website, so it's so lovely inside. If you want the standard edition, that's on Amazon at the moment. I'm hoping it's on bookshop.org soon. I thought it would be there already, and the ebook's on Amazon as well. So there'll just be a week or two delay, I think, with the problems with KDP at the moment, printing and things. But yeah, it is live on Amazon now. But if you order the colour one, I can post them today. So win-win.
Well, that's what I did over the weekend, Helen. So I'm looking forward to getting mine.
Yeah. No, it's great.
Well, there you go. Thank you very much for your time, Helen. And like I said, the best of luck with this.
Thank you.